How many people out there like a good surprise? I don't know about you. I know that I do. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to tell you 5 players that are on the Las Vegas Raiders roster bubble that could surprise the nation, but also the NFL. My name is Mitchell Renz. I'm the host of the Raiders Report here, and the rankings that you are going to see are going to be based on how confident I am on these players to go out there and make a big surprise and make a splash this upcoming season. I'll also say this. I expect every single player that you see in today's show to make the Raiders 53-man roster. Before we get into it, though, dude, I love this company. I love these guys. They've been a part of us for a long time here, and today's show is presented by Panda Sups. Use code Raiders for 20% off at pandasups.com, and if you spend over $125 and you live in the U.S., you're going to get some free creatine and free shipping. It's the products that I use and I trust to help me get into my wedding shape. Let's go to number 5 here. I'm going to put it defensive tackle Janu Laulu. And this is a player that I don't want Raider fans to forget about because he did step up for the Silver and Black last season when Christian Wilkins went down back in, I want to say, week 6, week 5, and he was forced to miss all those games. He's a big body guy on the interior who had 35 tackles, a sack, 3 tackles for loss last season, appeared in all 17 games for this team, and started in 7. Now, because we know that Wilkins' status for 2025 is a little bit up in the air, and I do anticipate Tonka Hemingway and J.J. Pegues to get the ball rolling, but based on some of the people that I've talked to from OTAs and minicamp, we'll see what training camp ends up looking like for Pegues and Tonka. But basically the plan right now for the Raiders for those 2 defensive tackles is to still let them get the ball rolling, where I think Lalu's going to compete very heavily with Zach Carter. I think you're also going to see, Lecky Fotu be able to go up there and step up. I just have so much confidence in Rob Leonard, the man and the coach that he is, with Patrick Graham, with a guy like Pete Carroll, that I think somebody like Laulu, who was a 7th rounder, got released by the Indianapolis Colts, joined this team last season. If you give him an entire offseason, another year with Rob Leonard, he's going to get better. And in 474 snaps last season, the PFF grades, let's be honest, they weren't fantastic. But also what wasn't very fantastic? The entire Raiders team from top to bottom. So I think Laulu isn't somebody that you're going to consider, all right, this is no doubt a top defensive tackle, but if he is somebody that can be a solid DT4, a solid DT5 in a rotation, that way you get fresh legs from Fotu, you get fresh legs from Adam Butler, you get fresh legs from Christian Wilkins if he's out there. He might not light up the box score every single week, but I do think that this is going to be one of these players that we sit back and we go, he was a contributor to help the Raiders win some football games this upcoming season. Now, I know all week I've been saying, hey, I'm on my honeymoon, and I'll be real, I am still on my honeymoon right now, and I know that I've been saying 100 subs, and I'm going to make a video tomorrow. So you know what? The last show that I did, which was Tuesday, I'm actually filming this on Wednesday. Spoiler alert. Rebel Montana banged. So I'm going to make a deal for Rebel. If this video gets 69 subs, I'm going to make y'all a video from my honeymoon tomorrow. I'll also say this. This is the best deal you're going to get from me when I'm on my honeymoon. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure those notifications are turned on. And my guy, Rebel, it's all love, dude. Let's go to number 4 here. It's going to be Tommy Malot, wide receiver, special teamer. And this is going to be a player that I really hope materializes into the dude that I know that he can be. You're looking at his stats right now, and you're going, well, wait a minute. I thought he was a wide receiver. He's going to play wide receiver with special teams in the NFL, buddy. He was the quarterback from Montana State over the past few seasons and ended up winning the Walter Payton Award, which is essentially the Heisman in FCS. He's going to make an impact, though, as a punt returner, as a kick returner. You've heard the Raiders special teams coach Tom McMahon already speak volumes of they want Malott to not think and go out there and be an athlete and react right away. When I heard the Raiders special teams coach said that, it kind of reminded me a few years ago of Trevon Merrick said that one of the reasons why he thought that he struggled in year 2 was because he was thinking too much, learning a brand new system, where in year 3 he went out there and he just reacted. I'm telling you this right now. I don't think people understand how good of an athlete he is. Yes, he is still learning that wide receiver position, but no matter what, due to his ability to make guys miss, he's going to be a great decoy on offense because you're going to have to be worried about him catching the football. You're going to have to be worried about him running the football, and you're always going to have to be worried about him passing the football. But let's look at some of these numbers from this past season just in terms of running it. 8.5 yards per carry, 15 total touchdowns. This guy was an absolute stud, even in the national championship game where he went up against his teammate now and Cam Miller. But from a career standpoint, the reason why Malot was made a quarterback is because Montana State saw that they had this unbelievable athlete, and they thought to themselves, how the hell can I get the ball in this kid's hands as many times as possible? So they made him a quarterback. That's a true story. That's why he played QB for Montana State. He was not recruited to play QB. But to me, I look at what the Raiders have, and I think they have this guy by the name of Tom Brady, and he used to work with somebody along the lines of Julian Edelman. And one of the comps that I've given him a lot is Julian Edelman. And I'm not sitting up here saying he's going to be the slot receiver that Julian was, but to say that it can't happen, I think is foolish, because from an athletic standpoint alone, you can go back, you can look at those numbers. 40-time RAS score. Tommy Mellott is a better athlete than Julian Edelman, and I do think that this Raiders team is going to find ways to use him because of Tom Brady, because of Pete Carroll, because also Chip Kelly has always done a great job with X's and O's, and Tommy Mellott to me is a hell of an X, and he's a hell of an O. So here's my question, and this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. How many touchdowns will Tommy Mellott score this season? Bonus points if after this YouTube ad break you comment down below what Melott's nickname is. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's kind of on screen right now. I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to go 3 total touchdowns for Malot this season. Maybe one's a punt return, maybe one's a kick return, and maybe one's a receiving touchdown as well. I do anticipate him being used in some of these trick plays, so I'm going to go 3 total touchdowns for touchdown Tommy. Let's go to number 3 here on the list. It's going to be Amari Gainer, and I would say out of all the players that I'm going to be talking about today, the one that might be the most on the roster bubble is, in fact, the UDFA out of North Carolina, Gainer, who's getting ready to go in to his second year. He didn't get too many tackles. He didn't get too much playing time last season, but where he really did shine was on special teams. And when I think about players that are trying to make a name for themselves in the NFL, especially with, again, this is a whole new, brand new regime, and I get it. Gainer was not drafted, but he was a rookie on a team last season that's got a totally new look. I look at players and what they do in the offseason, and I have a very good source on the Raiders that has told me, and I've said this from March, April, May, you go back, watch all my videos this entire offseason, what I've said about Amari Gainer. He has surrounded himself with the right people this offseason. And by the right people, I mean certain leaders on that Raiders team. But the ability to cover is going to help Gainer get on the field, because all Raider fans know right now the biggest weakness in that linebacker room is the inability to cover. But I also want to show y'all what he did in the preseason, because, yes, I understand it's only the preseason, but sometimes you can at least get a little bit of a light on a dude based on how they play in the preseason. And last year he played 119 snaps, 14 tackles, 2 PBUs, and 1 hurry. He brings the compete mentality every single day. And for a guy that I know is going to compete his balls off during training camp, during the preseason, Pete Carroll is going to take notice of that. Hell, the ideal coach that Amari Gainer could have gotten was Pete Carroll. And a lot of the numbers, like, he's not just getting put on the field because he's a hard worker. He also deserved it. That 78.5 coverage grade, I get it. Again, in the preseason, but as a UDFA, he at least showed you that he has the tools to get it done. And when you look at Landon Roberts, Jermaine Pratt, Devin White, these are all veterans, and Pratt's a good coverage linebacker. I don't want to take that away from him. But Roberts and White, not so much. Tommy Eichenberg, not so much. Cody Lindenberg, I think, still is a little of an unknown commodity. But if Gainer wants to get on the field, he's got to be able to show that he can cover. And I do think that he's a lot better of a coverage linebacker than what he gets credit for. Before I break down my top 2 surprise candidates here on the Raiders, today's show, again, is presented by Panda Sups. Make sure that you guys use code Raiders for 20% off at pandasups.com. And if it looks like I'm fighting back some tears, I might be having a sneeze come on. I've been sneezing all freaking day. But you know what? I've been trying to get into shape for my honeymoon, and the products that I've been trusting to help me do that have been Panda Sups, and they got this brand new premium whey protein isolate with 25 grams of protein, 100% pure whey isolate, 110 to 120 calories, 0 grams of sugar, and for a limited time, when you spend $125, you're going to get free creatine and free shipping if you live in the U.S. Now, maybe you've been looking up on the screen and you've been seeing these crazy flavors that Chugs has been flashing. And I would love to see Chugs actually flash the screen. But we're going to have to stick with the toasted honey graham, the chocolate brownie whip, and the peanut butter cookies. These flavors absolutely slap like cheat day. And if you have a sweet tooth, and once in a while, you need a cheat day. Like, I think that is a totally normal thing that people need to realize. Like, cheat days are okay. Imagine, though, if you could have a healthy cheat day. And that's why I love me some Panda Sups, and I think you guys will, too. One more time here. It's going to be Code Raiders. That link's down in the comments. It's down in the description of today's show. I hope that you go out, show some love. Who knows? Maybe if you're in better shape, you'll get more love. Let's go to number 2 here on the list. It's going to be Charles Snowden at defensive end. And the biggest question mark around him is going to be his court case on July 22nd. If everything goes smooth with that, and he's on this roster, I think that he's going to make an impact this season for Las Vegas. He's long, he's lanky, not the most athletic player, but what's really going to help Snowden get on the field is his ability to go up against the run, where Malcolm Kuntz, not really so much of a strong suit in that regard. Tyree Wilson, I think, is going to be playing this like defensive tackle tweener role. But for somebody that started 9 games, played in 16 last season, I do think that he's going to get some of those extra opportunities on the defensive line due to the shuffling of a guy like Tyree Wilson. Probably have to play in the middle a little bit more. Maybe a guy like Tonka Hemingway, J.J. Pegues has to play this kind of like tweener defensive tackle role. But due to the fact that Malcolm Kuntz, and we know this, is not the best at defending the run, if the Raiders are in a situation where they're going to need to put a defensive end out there and they're going to run 5-man fronts, Snowden's going to get an opportunity to stop the run because it's something that he did, quite frankly, I think pretty damn well last season. A 72.1 run defense grade and 405 snaps. And I know that this name that I'm going to throw out here, he's not as good as Bruce Irvin, but Bruce Irvin got a great start in Seattle, and he was long, he was lanky, and they used him as almost like this stand-up outside linebacker defensive end type of player, and that's kind of what Charles Snowden is best at. I'm curious to see if the Raiders do the exact same thing this upcoming season. Before I get into my number 1, I just want to tell you this one more time. I'm going to be gone from July 13th to the 18th, so if any crazy Raider news happens, you guys know my guy Jeremy Chugs, he's going to have you covered. If you want to see what my wife and I are doing on our honeymoon, again, I'm not going to show you everything, but I'll at least show you where we're hanging out, getting some drinks, and we'll be posting some stuff on Instagram. I only say that information because I do truly believe that people that are watching this video at this time in July, y'all are real ones, and I greatly, greatly appreciate you, and I don't mind showing you a little bit behind the curtain. That's what friends and family do after all. Let's go to number 1 here. The biggest surprise candidate for the Las Vegas Raiders this season. Hang on, I might sneeze. Nope, I think we've battled it off. Thomas Harper, 26 tackles, 1 INT, 2 PBUs last season, and this is a dude that it's hard not to root for him. Somebody that really has kind of had to make his way into the NFL, and I know all guys do, but when you've been battling practice squads, roster bubbles, time and time again, went from the Chargers, now he's with the Raiders, I would say that he's the second best free safety on the silver and black right now, and you know, I don't think Jeremy Chin is built to be a free safety. I don't really even think Isaiah Paul-Amal was built to be a free safety. But I do believe that Harper is kind of this intriguing, I'm going to call him tweener DB, where he can play safety. He can come up and play in the nickel. And Patrick Graham was using him a lot in the nickel this offseason. He played 15 games. He started 5 last season for the Raiders. And the number one thing that I'll always look for these guys in 191 snaps, I should mention that 78.3 at the very top. That is his overall PFF grade. But what I really want to look at is his coverage because, yeah, sure, he's not the best against the run. He is a little bit more of an undersized corner compared to what Pete Carroll guys typically are. But from a coverage standpoint, he's a lot quicker. I don't know if he's fast as much as he is quick, but the role that he's going to play this season, I kind of want a guy that is a little bit more quick. And that 76.4 coverage grade shows that. I mean, hell, I said again, he played in 15 games, started in 5, 191 snaps. In those 191 snaps, Thomas Harper was targeted only 8 times. I think that kind of shows how good of a player he was last season. Because let's face it, if a guy like Thomas Harper is coming out on the field, if you're an offensive coordinator going, that's the guy I'm targeting, I'm going to go after that dude. That didn't happen because he was actually a lot better being able to lock people down. Sure, he gave up 3 catches, but 3 catches on 8 targets, a completion percentage of 37.5. Thomas Harper showed me last season that when the call was made, he was able to answer it, and that's what Pete Carroll looks for in his cornerbacks, and I think that he's going to have another surprising season this year for the Silver and Black. So one more time here are my top 5 surprise candidates for the Las Vegas Raiders. I will say that I do believe that all 5 of these guys are on the roster bubble outside of Tommy Mellott since he was drafted this season, but I do believe that all 5 of these dudes will make the team, but you never know what could happen, injuries, all this crazy stuff. But I do think if all 5 are healthy, they're going to make an impact this year for the Raiders. Just maybe don't tell anyone.